Did you ever have to remove somebody who was like a friend that you got an order to remove? Or did you have autonomy to decide? Were you eventually making those decisions?
I was the one more making the decisions. I didn't have to remove none of my friends until I was like on the SNY side when I did some stabbings.
What's SNY?
SNY is what you call a sensitive need yard. And that was when I got removed and went to the SNY yard. And even then, I joined a prison gang and started politicking. And I honestly did more violence on the SNY yard than I ever did on the mainline. I probably beat up 13 people and stabbed 3 on the SNY. On the mainline, I didn't even stab nobody.
Yeah, I've heard somebody was in here on a previous episode. They said basically SNY yards were created for like, you know, the child molesters, the people with bad paperwork, right? The snitches, gang dropouts. But so many from the mainline dropped out that now the SNY yard has become the mainline yard because you got so many bad dudes, so many gangbangers that it's just the problem is just transferred now.
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
Yeah, we created our own gangs. Well, they were created before I even got there, but they're far more dangerous. Like I'd see a removal twice a year, 2 from the Southerners, 1 from us on the mainline at a given time, maybe 1 riot. Most of the time, it's respect levels and diplomacies because if we go to war, we're going to war. SNY yard. Your neighbor don't like you. Oh, I'm gonna sharpen the whip and I'm gonna stab him tomorrow morning for breakfast. Who's he gonna answer to? Who's gonna put him in his place? We don't answer to nobody. Everything is, hey, I'm gonna kill you if I want to, or you're gonna do what I say. If you don't respect me, I'll blast you whenever I want. A lot of anarchy on the SNY yards that make it a hell of a lot harder to survive in. Right. But that was the only time I had to remove friends. Norteño politics. Just because I called him my brother and because we're Northern Structure and we're from the same organization doesn't really mean he's my brother. It's just a term that we use, a term of endearment to show him like, hey, bro, we're one and the same. We believe in the same thing. We represent the same cause. We're part of the same struggle. We're brothers in that aspect. But you'll kill me just as fast as I'll kill you. So why should I have any love and support for you as a brother? Brotherly love doesn't exist. It's just a term that we use to promote unity. That's all it is.
Were you amongst your gang, your car, were you considered short time with 15 years? Or did a lot of the cats have less? Or were you around most people with life?
I was around most people with life. And that was probably some of the best training that I ever had because lifers that are involved in prison gang politics, they're more humble because you can't get them to react. But when they do, they're out for murder because they ain't got nothing to lose. So I'm getting educated by people that are doing life without the possibility of parole that are teaching me like, look, man, you got power. You're a young kid with power. Do something right with it. Don't be abusive with it. Don't be like the NF members we heard about that are hermits, that went bandidos and renegades and, you know, disassociated from the gang and are considered dropouts. Do something right. Do your investigative work. Make sure you're not killing your people just to kill your people. They had a different perspective about life because they had life. Yeah. Somebody like me that has 15 years, I was like, bro, I ain't got nothing to lose. I can catch another 10 years. So what? I'll kill this fool or I'll stab him and catch another 10 years. I'm still young. So that's how I was young and ambitious, but I was overly ambitious where I overstepped my boundaries all the time. Once my rank started looking better and I had more years of experience on my belt, dude, the power got bigger and the power got more. The influence got more to the point I was like, bro, you can't tell me nothing or I don't care what you say. I'm the authority in charge. I have the final say. So if you don't like it, I'll blast you too. That's when it got worse for me. I just forgot everything that I was ever taught.
Okay, so tell us about going to those private prisons.
Man, bro, it was like Disneyland, to be honest with you. We got there, right? I got there in 2008. First thing that happened, we were segregated. They accidentally popped the doors, and we went to war with the Southsiders. We left one brain dead or brain damaged, but they left like 6 of us in the hospital. The administration there realized that we can't get along, so they kept us segregated. But we're talking about staff that had no knowledge of our gangs. They were just like private security, somebody you would hire at a birthday event or something. And they had like one little can of spray and that was it. Mostly women. And we were able to knock these women and we had maybe 6 women, 7 women on our payroll, bringing us drugs, bringing us phones. We were having sex with them in the cells. Yeah. We were living good. We made money monthly off those facilities. And what I mean monthly, I mean like The last one I can remember, we made like 14 grand a month off these staff.
Just bringing in balloons.
Bringing in quarter ounces, zips. There was this weird thing, like they let us get packages, right? And they would never scrutinize our packages. So I had a friend, my neighbor, his name was Damage. I'll never forget it. Damage from Vallejo. And he was from San Jose. And he goes, hey, my brother works from GameStop. And I'm like, I didn't know what GameStop was. And I was like, and he goes, I can get an Xbox sent in here. I can gut it out and put like 10 cell phones in it. I was like, what do you need? He's like, I just need a cell phone to call him. So I give him my cell phone. He calls his brother. About 2 weeks later, he gets called. The packages comes, and I'm staring at the box like, oh, they're gonna bust it. They gave him the Xbox. He walked right in his cell, walked behind him. We unscrewed it. We had 10 cell phones with 10 chargers. Didn't have to pay nobody. The legal system out there, they don't scrutinize your legal mail. They don't open it and check it for you. Oh, hey, can you sign this? It's legal documents. You sign it, they give you the envelope. Dude, we had heroin and crystal meth coming through legal documents like every month. There was a female CEO that we used to run a train on. She was like, I don't know, maybe 60 years old, dude. She was old, like real old. Dude, she'd bringing zips of heroin like nothing. She was in love with like one of our homies, and so he would just have to bang her out in a day. Yeah. There was no supervision. One camera that faced the whole room. And the CEOs can literally walk in their cells and we can just be in there having sex all day. Yeah. So it was just a field day. We made so much money. We got to Oklahoma.
Why'd you have to leave? Why'd they ship you out?
Because they were bringing more Northerners from California. So that was like the first stop was Arizona. So those of us that been here 8 months to a year, we got transferred to Oklahoma. And then from Oklahoma, you would go to Mississippi if they needed more room. California was becoming overpopulated. And so when I got to Oklahoma, same thing. The female CEOs there were just like giving it up to inmates. Some of them didn't even want the money. They just wanted to have sexual affairs with some dude they thought was handsome. And I was seeing women fall in love, women getting married to these guys. I've had homies that got married to some of these staff, and dude, it was just a free for all. We had so much drugs. It was just like we were giving it out to people. Like, here, man, here's a 8-ball from the streets. Like, here, you can have it for $50. Give me $50 JPay or something. We were balling out of control. Right. That prison. That prison was no form of discipline, no form of correction. We all became like big time drug dealers. Wow. I left Oklahoma for that weapons charge. I got transferred to SAT-F. With like maybe like $4,000 to $5,000 on my books just off money I made, not money that I created for the banks there. Right. That's how we were balling.
So it was all private prisons in America are almost like prisons in Mexico. Like everything goes.
Everything goes. When we weren't like Mexico, like, you get guns and Uzis and grenades in Mexico, but over here it was just anything went.
And is that because they're private, so they need to make money, so they they staff it the least, and they have the least amount of security to keep their costs down, right?
I'm not sure what these private corporations were for. Yeah. I know there's a lot of profit that could be made by creating, new facilities for inmates. But like I said, it was just, you got one compound, and each compound has 3 buildings, and in those 3 buildings you had 5 pods. One of them would be ad seg, and you have 1 cop per pod. Yeah. And I'm seriously, they walk around with a little pepper spray, some keys, they open your doors once an hour, and they literally are given a chair just like this, sit at the end of the pod, and they just watch you. They just babysit. So a lot of these women were like so bored that they would just talk to us like, so where y'all from? Or what y'all doing out here? What you in here for? Damn, boy, you handsome. And then you were just like, hey, you want to come in a cell? You want to make some money, hypothetically? Dude, the person that I was making money off of the most was my correctional counselor. He was a regular dude, and to believe it or not, all he asked was he seen a tattoo artist in my building, and his name was Murph. Murph was from Santa Rosa. And he seen that dude's drawings, and he goes, hey, does he get down like that tattoo? So I showed him my tattoos. I was like, that dude's bad. He's like, hey, you think he can draw like a sailor, like a ship with water and this and this and that? So I bring it to the homie, and the homie's like, well, what's in it for me? I was like, bro, we're going to get this food. Just trust me. Literally went in a cell, let the homie tied up his arm, gave him some bad ink on his arm, clean artwork, and we had him locked. Yeah. So he was bringing us whatever. We can use his computer for whatever. He'd be like, all right, what do you guys want from the streets? This and this and that. And we would just get like drugs here and there from him. But we pretty much had him on a payroll. It was that easy to knock him on a payroll.
So you $5,000 on your books in prison is like having $100,000 on the street. I mean, you're eating.
Yeah, well, I was eating, but that was just what I was able to bring. That's not what I was spending, because over there you can go to canteen once a week, not once a month. So I'm going like $90, $100 every week of food, eating it in 1 week. I'll go next week $100. I'll go next week $100. Why? Because I just made a couple of another $1,000. But my responsibility was what you would call a household bank. So the household bank is all my chain of command members had to have their own money, which is we're going to make money for their books. The household bank is like, all right, maybe I saved up $15,000 in the event that this CEO is like, hey man, if you guys want these new cell phones or you guys want this Xbox 360 that locks into the internet, you got some money? Yeah. Okay, we got money for it. We got money if this girl says, hey, I'll bring you in 3 zips for $2,000. All right, well, here's $2,000. That household money is just to take care of the household.
And where is that stored? Is that on the prison commissaries on an outside account?
It's an outside account. Okay. I usually get somebody trustworthy of my chain of command that will, his wife or his sister or his mom won't steal the money, and we'll just navigate it just like that. Say, for example, at the time, there were 60 Northerners in that pod. Not everybody's fortunate. So if I see a Northerner who doesn't go to store or doesn't get a package, the household bank, hey, bro, what do you need? I just need a package. Give me the list of everything you want. I'll buy them a package. There you go, bro. Yeah. And that little gesture right there of giving somebody a package because they're less fortunate, I know I can turn to that dude and say, hey, bro, if I need you to stab this fool, you're going to stab this fool because of everything I've done for you. I looked out for you. I'm your family. I'm your brother. A lot of little, subtle manipulation going on with our little procedures.
Did you have a lot of respect? Sounds like you were a good leader.
No, I was a good leader up until Oklahoma. Oklahoma is when my downfall happened. But it's only because when I was already knew I was under investigation, I was under question. I did a lot of removals out there that I didn't want to do, but were necessary. And 2 of those removals that I sanctioned were good homies. Take the norteño politics out of it, take the identity out of it. Dudes were good dudes. They were just violating the policies. And at some point, I have to lay my foot down and be like, bro, I got to make an example of somebody, bro. And if it's going to be you, it's going to be you. And I seen the culture change a little bit. I seen like some of the Northerners that were coming were like friends, bro. They were like friends from the streets. They were like their own brotherhood outside of the politics. And I kind of ruined that. So I had a bad reputation. Like, man, this fool just got rid of 2 homies, good homies that we liked because of these stupid norteño politics as these dudes are pushing. There was a lot of norteño soldados of my status, of my caliber, that were real abusive. And I was feeding off that energy. When they were becoming abusive, I was like, okay, this is how I need to be to earn the respect. I was just gaining the wrong respect from people. It was respect out of fear, not respect out of honor and appreciation that, you are my leader. So I was doing it to myself but not even realizing it.
Who were you when you were in Oklahoma and in Mississippi and these other private prisons out of California? Who were you reporting back to, and where were these guys? These people that had rank on you?
Technically, I was supposed to be reporting to Nuestra Familia members.
Right.
Only problem is I wasn't. See, when I first got out there, my padrino, my godfather, the person that brought me into the organization, he was on the streets. Remember, I told you he got indicted in Red Reaper for killing confidential informants and burying some people. I had contacted him and I said, hey, I'm in Arizona at a private facility, bro. Like, this is not California jurisdiction. Who am I supposed to report to? And he was like, you know what? I don't even know. Let me get back to you on that. He got indicted. So I got a letter from Arizona from an NF member saying, hey, since you're in Arizona, I'm in Arizona. I'm at this federal facility. You report to me. But I get a kite from California saying all these facilities have NF members you are not allowed to be in contact with because they're the federal jurisdiction. You're still a California inmate, which makes you a California state jurisdiction. So now I'm like, well, who am I supposed to report to if you guys are saying that I got to report to California? They didn't provide a name. So you got NF members in the Fed saying, hey, you report to us. Then you got California NF members saying, you report to us. Where I was like, well, when y'all figure it out, y'all let me know. Y'all give me a name and an address and a CDC number, and that's who I'll report my letters to. They never did. So for 1.5 years, I just said, you know what? Until they figure it out and somebody shoots me a letter saying, I am your regiment commander, you will report to me. I'm at this facility. I just went about my business like I was supposed to, establishing these yards, securing these yards, creating production and revenue for my people. But after a while, I think I had so much fun out there with like Xboxes and PlayStations and drugs and phones where like that too. And then so I just didn't even care about NF politics. And I was already reaching to that point of my status where I was like, bro, I don't really need to answer to them. I'm just obligated per Norteño law. But as long as nothing's going on and I got everything under control, what do they need to know?